This year's Continental Classic marked the second iteration of the round robin tournament, a tournament that gave us great matches like Ricochet versus Will Ospreay, Okada versus Kyle Fletcher, and Shelton Benjamin pretty much versus anybody. And these great matches led us to a final of Okada versus Will Ospreay. And after the bell rang, Okada ended up reigning supreme. He ended up winning the Continental Classic. He defended his championship. After the match, Okada was celebrated, and us as fans, we got the surprise of a return of Kenny Omega. They had that epic stare down in front of the All In poster. Kenny Omega, he's back. He's better than ever. But it got me thinking, it got me wondering, was this entire past month all to build up to this one moment? It hit me like a ton of bricks that this entire tournament was to build up Okada versus Kenny Omega. And not soon. They were posing in front of the All In poster for quite a little bit of time. So we know that the plan is going to be them versus each other out All In. So it took me some time to analyze. But let me tell you here that I think that this entire Continental Classic tournament was a waste of everybody's time. Granted, we had some great matches. We had some amazing matches. But outside of the match quality, this past month was just a long, complex buildup for this showdown that lasted 30 seconds to a minute. So we're going to analyze it because there's a lot of things that were good. Match quality wise, it was a great tournament, but storyline wise, we got to analyze it. We got to analyze what was built up, who was built up, because honestly, nothing outside of this main event, outside of Okada versus Kenny Omega, this entire tournament was a waste of time, I think, honestly. So let's analyze what exactly what we missed in this tournament here, because we were robbed of Ricochet versus Will Ospreay because of the tournament changes that Tony Khan did here. Technically, if we're going back based off of last year's rules, Will Ospreay and Ricochet would have had to face each other at this point in time. But the rules changed. So now the Blue League's going against the Gold League in the semifinals. So that was not the case. And let me tell you, they had the perfect buildup if they had not changed the rules. You already had Ricochet versus Will Ospreay the first time, ended in disqualification. Ricochet, and obviously this is excluding their past matches, this is just an AEW. But the first time was DQ. The second time that they wrestled, Ricochet had to cheat, and they spent the entire episode of Collision just, oh, check the cameras. He cheated. Did you cheat? Nah, I didn't cheat. The ref didn't know who pushed him. Obviously, we know it was Ricochet, so he cheated to win, and we never got a follow up on that. I mean, yes, Will Ospreay ended up having to kind of fight his way into the semifinals because of the loss, but I feel like we could have had that rematch in the semifinals, but they changed the rules on it, so that is something that was missed. And on top of that, let's say Ricochet, he was eliminated in the semifinals versus Okada. So we did get a good match. But outside of that, I mean, the people that he is feuding with, which is Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate, and on top of that, with Swerve, none of these guys were even close to be related in the tournament. I mean, it seemed like he was trying to join the Hurt Syndicate, but he was sunned. He was treated as a nobody to them. He was pretty much choked out by Bobby Lashley and sent to the back to never be seen again with the Hurt Syndicate, right? And then he's over here being called Trevor by Swerve. But I don't think you really needed the tournament to even build that storyline. So what is Ricochet? How does he come into this tournament or post-tournament looking like? He's not a main event star. He's just somewhere in the mid-card. He's probably going to lose against Swerve, or maybe he'll be absorbed into the Hurt Syndicate with his new character. But at the same time, if he is in the Hurt Syndicate, he's not going to be the main eventer. The main eventer is going to be Bobby Lashley. But I mean, to me, Ricochet doesn't come out looking any better. Maybe just because he has a change of character now, but I feel like that could have happened even if it wasn't for the tournament. So on top of Ricochet, we're also robbed of AEW creating new stars. You have, I mean, one of the things that the internet wrestling community just despises, just doesn't like about AEW, doesn't like specifically about Tony Khan, is that they have yet to develop any new stars outside of MJF. I would throw Mariah May in there, but lack of new stars. And they had the perfect opportunity to create a brand new star in Kyle Fletcher. He had just beat Will Ospreay. He's looking on the way up. He gets added into this tournament. One of the things I said before the tournament began was that Kyle Fletcher needed to look dominating. He needed to win the tournament, but that's not what we got. That's not what we got. We got him winning, getting 12 points. Yes, he looked dominating in that manner. He makes it to the semifinals where he loses in the first round to Okada. And I get what you're going to say. He's not at Okada's level. He still needs room to grow. But and this is for the mid card title. This is for the lower mid card titles for the Continental Tournament champion, uh, which is below the TNT title. I think it's below the All Atlantic title, the All International title. So exactly where you position him here. I mean, where do you put him? Do you have him face Daniel Garcia next? Which we were going to actually answer that pretty soon here. Like, where does this leave Kyle Fletcher? Because he's not in the main card. He lost for in this tournament for the mid card title, right? So where do you put Kyle Fletcher? He's now lost some momentum because he took an L. He took the loss to Okada, so he's just in limbo right now. Granted, we're probably going to see some storylines with him and the rest of the Don Callis family, but there's a lot of questions to be asked with how he looks coming out of this tournament. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comments. I mean, did he have a great showing? Yes. Match quality wise, but character development wise, I think he lost a step. I think he lost some momentum here. But let me know if you guys, am I being too crazy here in the comments? Let me know what you. And the crazy thing about it is, you could have still had that same ending of Kenny Omega and Okada having a stare down. And just in this situation, you just have Kyle Fletcher beat Will Ospreay. Okada beats Ricochet just like way it happened, and then they have a great match. Obviously, Okada already took the loss from Kyle Fletcher earlier on in the tournament, but now they're fighting for the finals. You have Kyle Fletcher win. He looks dominating. He's the new star with his new title, has this new attitude, right? You have Kenny Omega still come down. He still does his thing. He gives the belt to Kyle Fletcher. They have their moment. They have their stare down. You get fans to dream, to be like, oh, Kenny Omega, Kyle Fletcher, that's going to be a really good match. And then you turn around and then you see Okada just staring down Kenny Omega. And then you see Kenny Omega go up to Okada, and then they have their stare down in front of the same poster for All In. You still have the same buildup because fans are going to want to see Okada versus Kenny Omega. They don't need the title to have that match. So you could have easily had Kyle Fletcher win the title and look strong. But no, instead you just have people looking forward to Okada versus Kenny Omega, which is going to be a great match. But we've seen it. What is this going to be? Okada versus Omega 7 now? Granted, this is a different Kenny Omega, just coming fresh off of the diverticulitis injury. So we got to see how he's going to hold up. I mean, maybe he's not taking that many crazy front bumps. He's got issues with his gut, with his stomach. Maybe he's got some scarring. Maybe he doesn't want to get kicked so much in the stomach. That's the other thing we got to think about too. But I think they missed a big opportunity here because Okada doesn't need this title. Kyle Fletcher did, and we're now left in this in between where we got to wait 7 months for Okada versus Omega. You could have had something else happen. You could have had Kyle Fletcher leaving. He looks strong. Now we have two extreme matches that people want to see. Kyle Fletcher versus Kenny Omega. It would have been built organically just by having that stare down. But you guys let me know what you think. And the other thing, where exactly does this leave Shelton Benjamin? Because when he joined AEW, I needed to see where his career path took him. I said this tournament was going to be a good kind of determining factor where he's going to be in the totem pole of the card, right? He didn't do too well. He got second to last place in his group. He lost to Danny Garcia. It seemed like they were going to be teasing that. Shelton Benjamin versus Daniel Garcia, but for the TNT title, instead, Mark Briscoe picked up a win over Danny Garcia. And it looks like to me Mark Briscoe versus Daniel Garcia, which on the other hand is like, why would you even put Daniel Garcia in this tournament? He was 4 days removed from winning the goddamn title. So he's now in this tournament. He picks up, I want to say 3 losses in this tournament. So it's mind-boggling to me as to why you would put your TNT champion in a tournament for another title that he barely just won one. So it was very interesting to see why he would be put in here. put the title on ice. It seems like they're going to have Mark Briscoe and maybe hopefully Shelton Benjamin face each other for that title. But Mark Briscoe and Daniel Garcia, I mean, it's going to be a good match. But once again, we just can't have matches for the sake of having good matches. We have to have some storylines. It can't just be all the time that that's your title and I want it, so I need it. There's got to be some other storylines other than just that. I mean, it seems like two buddies that are just going to have a duke it out for the title because of this tournament. It's not enough for me. I feel like as fans we need to have some more meat other than that, you know. And that's just the bigger names. I mean, you also have other names like Beast Mortos, who walked away with 0 wins in the tournament. Which when he first showed up in AEW, people were hooping and hollering over him. Yeah, he was going to be a player. He was a good match guy. He puts in the work, but he didn't get a point. He just got put in here to lose. Same can be said with Commander. Of course, Juice Robinson got injured. Commander was a late replacement, but he did get 3 points. And also, I'm tired of the disrespect for Brody King, man. The fans, they love Brody King. They love the House of Black, but they just don't get pushed. I expected him to see him be a little bit better than we got. He did save Darby Allin from a beatdown with Claudio Castagnoli, with Cesaro, but at the same times, like, the more has to be done other than just good matches. He was just put in there to have good matches, and that's it. But now what? Now what's next? Where is Buddy Matthews? Where's Malachi Black? The entire House of Black division is the entire House of Black team is missing, other than Julia Hart, who's having a match here on Wednesday. Join us for our live streams after every AEW Dynamite, after every Monday Night Raw, and after every SmackDown and pay-per-view. Me and Adrian will go break down the analysis here for you, so make sure you join us on those. But I mean, where do you guys go with this Continental Classic? And this is the second iteration, the second year that they do this. Honestly, the only way I can probably enjoy another one of these is, besides the great matches, is you guys have to. Tony Khan's got to make this tournament not about the title. It's got to be the number one contendership for the world title, because for it being a third division belt, I guess you could say, because the top's world title, TBS, sorry, the world title, the TNT title, the all international title, and this one would be like the third one. This is the Continental Championship, right? Which is kind of ridiculous considering you have another title named All International title. So it's like you have all the internationals, I guess all the national title, right, from all the countries, and then you have the Continental title. Doesn't make much sense. So I think this tournament, they got to make it for number one contendership to the world heavyweight title, because why would any champion want to be a title holder of this? I mean, you can lose multiple times in this tournament, and then you still got to win the thing to keep the title. So it's kind of like confusing as to why would Okada be in there, just to prove that he's the best wrestler? Well, he's not, because he's not the best wrestler. He's not the world heavyweight title holder, right? That's the other thing. That's the cream of the crop, right? So you guys let me know what you guys think. But we as wrestling fans have a lot to look forward to in the year 2025, and we made a big list for you guys. Just click this video right here. Thank you for watching.